Welcome to the Metaphysics Hour. I am your host, Rory Colgan. Thanks for tuning in on this beautiful, dreary, rainy spring day. The trees are starting to bud, the grass is lush and green, the animals are relatively happy, so let's get started. I want to tell you a little bit about masculine energy. Now, specifically, I'm designing this for men that want to understand their masculinity. Anybody else that wants to understand masculinity can benefit from this, so it doesn't necessarily have to be binary. But just in general, I'm speaking as a heterosexual male about masculinity. But masculinity, in its essence, is a human trait. It's not a man trait. There are different degrees of masculinity from 0% to 100%, and humans fall within that spectrum. Apologize about the siren. I thought the siren was done, but apparently it's not. Or I guess now it is. One thing that masculinity really showcases to me, and this is something that's been a long arc for me, is that you have to be willing to communicate your desires. So to be truly masculine, to be a good quote-unquote man, you have to know what's important to you. And you have to have a set of values that you live by. Now, this set of values is hopefully something that's well thought out. It's not something that was just passed down to you and you never questioned. It's something that you've literally gone through the rigorous experience of living in order to understand what is truly valuable for you. What's valuable for your father, if your father's in your picture, if he's in your life, may not be valuable for you. So you have to go out and basically do your own journey and figure out what type of man you are. And that journey is a sacred journey. I think it happens throughout the entire life. But here I am, late 30s, and I feel like I've figured out what type of man I am to a large degree. What that then requires is for me to be able to communicate that to my loved ones, my girlfriend, my friends. I need to communicate the type of person I am, the type of man that I am, and stand up for myself in that. You need to stand up for yourself. Compromise is an important, essential tool to live in a community. But there are certain things that you can't compromise. And these are your truest identifying traits of yourself. This is the reason why you're on planet Earth. This is why you're here. And so you can't give up why you are here. If you do that and you live life for somebody else or some other metric system, some other way of looking at it, you're going to be unsatisfied, you're going to be resentful, you're going to be unhappy, and therefore you're not going to be a good man. A good man is a man that's full of passion and purpose. He understands why he's here, and he's willing to do the work to live towards that. That doesn't mean that he's going to be on the cover of GQ. Doesn't mean that he's going to be valued by his community in a way that really makes people notice. You might be pretty invisible to society because what they flash on the social media is very glitzy, very glamoury, and not really a genuine way in which a man might show up. For instance, here I am. I'm just sitting on my back porch recording this video, and you're going to watch it, but most people aren't going to pay attention to this, right? It's not going to be that important. What is important to me, though, is that I share this with people. I put it out there so that if somebody is questioning what is it to be a man, they can come across this video and maybe get an idea about it and maybe help themselves understand who they are. And that is very important to me. Again, it's part of why I'm here, is to be an educator. And the first person I need to educate is myself. I've been on a long journey trying to figure out who I am. And I'm still on that journey, and I still will be on that journey. But there's a couple things that I understand that need to happen in my life. One, I need to be of service. I need to do something meaningful for people. YouTube gives me an opportunity. These social platforms give me an opportunity to share this information with people that aren't near me physically. I need space. If you look behind me, you see plenty of space. This is the type of life that I want. I want lots of space. Not everybody wants that. And it doesn't mean you're less than a man or less of a man if you want less space or if you want more space. That those are irrelevant definitions from the outside looking in. You, as a man, need to understand who you are, and you need to stand up and advocate for that. You need to be the best man that you can be, and you need to understand what type of man that is. So for me, it's an educator, it's a farmer, it's a gardener, it's a nature guy, it's somebody that is generous and kind, and somebody that's not extremely boisterous and not going to be the life of the party, more than likely, but can cut loose when ready and when able and desiring. Understand who you want to be as a man. And that is something that can happen only inside yourself, the type of man that you want to be. And so you go through experiments and try to figure out, am I going to be like this? No. Am I going to be like this? No. I've tried it. I've tried to date women and be a different type of person, and usually they made me unhappy. So I learned through life that whether I was choosing a job, a school, or a woman, that if I wasn't truly authentic with myself, it wasn't going to work. But how do I know what is authentically myself until I give myself experience? So as a man, whatever your age, you should be experimenting so you come to understand who you are and what type of man you are, what your interests are, what your passions are, how to better yourself. And then go about bettering yourself. As you better yourself, you will be able to really understand the value of just the type of man you are. And once you understand the type of man you are, you can advocate for yourself, and you can be an awesome partner for somebody that's looking for the man that you are. Or you can do stag life. You can be by yourself, and you can be really happy because you know that your life has purpose, it has meaning, and you're on your point. You're on purpose. You're doing everything as best as you can to the best of your ability. So always keep in mind that to be masculine, you have to stand up for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself, and you have to move your life in accordance with the principles that are in your heart and in your mind. That's how you become a strong masculine energy. Now, you'll find balance, as every human does, in their own way between the aggressive and the receptive. And that is a very, very tricky dynamic because everybody has aggressive energy and everybody has receptive energy. But for the men and for those that want to understand masculinity, you have to understand what inside you wants to come out. What is the aggressive movement? And once you understand what that type of movement is, then you actually have to do the movement. You can't restrict that without creating huge imbalances in your masculine force. So get in touch with what drives you and then go about that. Drive yourself. If you need any help figuring out your masculine energy or your feminine energy, reach out to me. I'll put the link down in the description. Peace and love. Namaste. God bless.